Hey everyone, so this is different from videos that I normally do. There's so much stuff happening in the world. I wanted to comment on one thing in particular. It's not everything that happened with the hockey team. It's not the stuff that happened at the BAFTA Awards. I mean, there's literally so much to choose from, right? But I wanted to talk about this still growing trend of women specifically, but I've seen men do it too, of denouncing their fraternity or sorority. Now, some of you may know that I am in a sorority. I won't say the name. I've said it in past videos, but I'm not going to say the name. And granted, I've only been in that sorority, it's been less than 3 years. I still have experienced some things that weren't necessarily that great, but this is my thing. Everyone has the right to feel the way they feel. I personally have never watched an announcement video, but I have an idea of what's in it. I've heard enough people comment on them. So I know that people are coming from a place of hurt, of disappointment, of a lot of different stuff, from undergrads to alumni chapter members. It's just a lot of stuff in between, right? And everyone has their own personal reasons. And I think you should obviously and absolutely do what works best for you, for your mental health, for your physical health. Make the best decision for you. The whole thing about, it's demonic and, we're worshiping something that's not God and like all this other stuff is like, I have trouble swallowing that part of it because most people, before they get into an organization, a sorority, fraternity, whatever, first of all, there's a process, right? The process is not or should not be a process that lasts a few hours. So it means you're given enough time to do your thorough research on these organizations. Now, of course, you're not going to know everything, but once you're in the process, you start learning more and more, and you have a decision then and there before the process is complete to decide, hey, this isn't right for me. I don't really believe these things. This goes against my morals, my values, my faith, and you have the right to leave. Or you can say, you know what, this actually is in line with what I want, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to complete this process. So it's kind of weird for me, or maybe I shouldn't say weird. It's hard for me to understand someone going through this whole process, knowing that, again, they should have done the research, they should have done, should have asked the questions that they're supposed to ask and all that stuff to get to that point and then cross over, for lack of a better word. Now you're in this organization, and now 1, 2, 5 years in, now you decide to denounce. That's a difficult pill for me to swallow, right? I think that everything is absolutely not for everybody. So I'm not trying to I'm not trying to sway anybody to either stay in an organization. I'm not trying to sway anybody to denounce the organization. I'm not trying to sway anybody to get into an organization. I do think that it's hard for me. It is hard to really appreciate and acknowledge all the people who are denouncing because I feel like some of the people doing it, they're doing it as part of a trend as opposed to I'm really hurt and I really need to do this for myself. And the reason why I say that is because I've heard of some women specifically who have denounced their organization after less than a year. Like you haven't experienced anything like at all. You had your process and all that stuff, but literally you've only experienced one chapter. And if you know anything about anything that you're a part of, you're not going to get everything you need, and everything's not going to be perfect in your chapter. Like there's always going to be something. There's going to be some women you don't get along with. There's going to be some practices maybe you're not, familiar with or that you don't approve of, which is fine. That's why they have so many chapters. And in every chapter, there should be at least one person that you actually like. If not, every organization has hundreds of thousands of members. You can find some member on this planet that you can get along with and that can help you out, answer your questions, all that stuff. So again, I think for some people it's turned into a trend. And then the other thing is I think about celebrities, right? Celebrities, a lot of people, common people, ask a lot of celebrities. We ask to be a part of their lives, to know what's going on, to know when they bought a new house, bought a new car, booked that role, started their podcast, whatever. To the point where when celebrities, especially celebrity couples are dating, we're expecting, especially in 2026, beyond 2026, we're expecting celebrities to put out a full press release about this relationship. Why'd you guys break up? Why'd you guys get a divorce? Is there any plans to get back together? What were the reasons cited for the divorce? All of that stuff getting up in everybody's business. That's what we expect of celebrities, and I'm not saying it's right, but it's kind of commonplace, right? Because those people are quote unquote important and they're in the public eye. If you are the average person, and this is going to sound cruel, why do you think that you are so important that you deserve to have a press conference to tell everybody you're denouncing this organization? Again, if you choose to not be in an organization anymore, that is completely up to you. That is your business. That is your prerogative. Again, like I said at the top of this video, do whatever makes you comfortable, whatever makes you feel happy, healthy, all of that stuff. Why does it need to be an announcement? Why can't you just leave? With all these organizations, you pay dues to remain in the organization. So just don't pay your dues. Like, it seems like that would be a lot less painful, that'd be a lot less dramatic. That would take a lot less from you to literally just not pay your dues. Let the deadline pass you by and don't pay your dues anymore. All of the paraphernalia that you may have gotten or that someone may have gotten for you, donate it to other people who are still in the organization. Like, you literally just be like, oh, I'm not in that anymore. And that's it. So I don't understand why all of this has to be a thing. And it's also one thing to leave an organization for whatever reason, right? Your own personal reasons. If you feel like you got to denounce, okay, fine, whatever. You feel like it has to be that dramatic, sure. But why, in the midst of that, do you feel the need to then share secrets of that organization? And not secrets like, oh, they beat me, like not those kind of secrets, but actually secrets of some of the things that these organizations do, right? Practices, rituals, whatever you want to call it. These things have been in existence for a very long time. At least some of these organizations since, well, not since, actually, all these organizations for the 20th century have been on this earth for over 100 years, with the exception of one DNOT organization. They've had these things in place and in practice for a very long time. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. But then why expose them like this and tell other people their business? I don't understand what you personally get out of that. And I'm sure they're probably telling themselves, oh, well, I'm helping the next person out so they don't have to go through what I go through. You can still do that by talking about your experience without exposing that organization and what they do. That literally has nothing to do with you. You can just say, for me and for my values, they didn't really line up with my values. I didn't get the support that I thought I needed. I was abused in several different ways that I didn't appreciate. I had this experience, that experience. You can talk all day long about how you yourself were impacted by the things that you saw. Just talk about your feelings. You don't have to expose things. And I've seen men do it too. And I'm like, what are you getting out of that? That just seems cowardly is not the word. It's definitely not the word for that. But it seems unnecessarily. It seems unnecessary. I'll just say that. And so I don't quite get it. And so I'm going to say this. Being in any organization, whether it's sorority, whether it is like a parental organization, whether it's a freaking PTA. I've had plenty of drama in PTAs that I've been part of. Like, I'm gonna keep it all the way funky. Any organization you're a part of is going to have its challenges, is going to have its ups and downs, and you can do your research before you join any type of organization, period, right? Even if it's just a service group that's connected to your job, right? Do your research before you sign up for any of this stuff. Do your research, figure out what they're about, figure out if what they're about aligns with what you're about or what you want to be about. Figure out if you have time to dedicate to this particular thing. Be honest with yourself about whether you think this is a good fit. Because again, it's not for everybody. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you if you choose not to do it, or if you try to do it and you're not selected for whatever reason. That's fine. Everything is not supposed to be for everybody, and that's okay. But think twice before you go through all of this mess of denouncement. It's unnecessary. And even if you had that one experience that was not great at your chapter, in your region, or whatever, that these public displays are making it seem as if these organizations as a whole are evil and demonic. And again, you're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe. I'm just going to say for me, I don't believe that's the case. I think all of these organizations stand on the same fundamentals of brotherhood, sisterhood, providing scholarship, doing community service, all of those things. And those are all good things. But again, each chapter operates differently. Each chapter may have their good eggs and their bad eggs. We all understand that. Again, I've had some issues as well in past chapters, but one thing that I was told over and over and over again, no matter what someone tells you, no matter what kind of experience you're having, no matter who your sister is who's doing this or who your brother is who's doing that, always remember your why. Remember why you decided to sign up with this organization. Remember why you went to that first informational. Remember why you sought out members to find out more information about the events that they were doing in your community. Remember why this was so important to you that you sacrificed time with your families. Remember why you paid all of this money to join this organization. Remember why you pay money every year to stay a part of this organization. Remember all that stuff because your why, your own personal reasons, that's you. You have to decide for yourself if this is worth it every single year. And again, if it's not, just don't pay your dues. Nobody's coming knocking on your door begging you and demanding for you to pay this money. If you're like, okay, this ain't for me anymore because maybe I'm in a different place in my life, maybe my values have changed, which is fine. That happens with people as we get older. Some things tend to shift, mentally. Then just be like, all right, I'm not gonna pay my dues. You don't have to announce to anybody. Now, if a member calls and say, hey girl, where you been? I seen you in a while. Just say, hey girl, well, I decided I don't want to be part of the organization anymore. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry to let you go, but you know what? We're still friends. We're still cool. All right, girl. Talk to you later. That's literally it. That compared to creating a video like this, where you have the dramatic music, where you have the spooky lighting, where you're telling people, I'm officially denouncing this organization because they did this, and this. Like, all of that is unnecessary. And again, this is going to sound cruel. You're not that important to be that dramatic with it. You can just stop paying your dues. So I just wanted to give my 2 cents and, take it for what it's worth, but that's it.